Resurgance episode one. Man, one for the books. New company. Definitely like seeing new companies come out the woodwork because I'm interested in seeing how they portray themselves, how they portray the guys and the women they have on their rosters. First impressions mean a lot, especially just in life in general. But when it comes down to it, you need to understand that there are critical things that need to be in tip top shape before getting into the show business, if that makes sense. Um, I won't put 'em- I won't put it past the production team for the audio production. Sometimes you get a little nervous. It's the first episode. You do want to make a good impression. You don't want to disappoint. And if it wasn't for the great matches that I saw, I probably wouldn't be tuned in. I probably would have left and would have been like, no, I don't want to deal with this anymore. But the matches definitely made the show. And sometimes you do need solid bangers to really get you out of this mindset of, well, there's not really that good of sound. Lack of segments. I didn't like how they were just going from match to match, or like match commercial match. There needed to be something in between, so it kind of like didn't feel bombarded. So me, I wasn't able to take everything in properly because everything I was writing down for the first match, I was going to the second match. I was like, okay, I gotta have all my attention on this. So I do apologize if this isn't a full, detailed review. And again, I'm not taking away from the company because they definitely did a relatively good job. It was just sound and it was the lack of substance that kind of made things concrete, if that makes sense. Kid Wolf versus Matt Foster. These are two guys who are very good at what they do. Kid Wolf being the son of Chris Franchise, so I'm very well tied with him. He's definitely somebody that I want to see more of. I have him in Triumph here and there. He comes down and a very respectable kid. Um, Very hard hitting as well. He really knows how to take control in matches. Really knows how to just work, and that's a big thing in this industry. Matt Foster is another guy that knows how to work. He plays his role pretty well, and he's really good in the ring. This was a great pace match. It started off really fast, and I like when a match starts out fast because sometimes chain wrestling isn't for everybody. Sometimes going hold for hold for hold isn't exactly what people want to see. So them just starting out like that with the strikes and just wrestling, it definitely was good. There were certain things that personally I would have done differently in the match. One of those things being having these moves kind of stay on a little longer. So when you're working, a body part, when you're doing a lot of limb targeting, I would be targeting that limb for at least a minute. Don't let up on the person because you're thinking about the next spot. And that's something I see a lot in a lot of matches is that people are thinking about the next spot instead of really just kind of like slowing things down. And when you are working a match at a fast pace, it's kind of hard to slow down when you're thinking about the next spot and you're trying to rush on through it. And sometimes, things do happen. From what I've seen, I didn't really see any botches, which is good. My personal preference is I wish that again things were held in longer, submission holds were held in longer, working holds were held longer. Um, the ring post figure four that Matt Foster did to Kid Wolf, I wish that was held on a lot longer because that definitely should have set the tone that like Kid Wolf was gonna have to slow down because his legs are getting target and Kid Wolf is a striker that motherfucker can kick, and that's the thing. So if you want to really work this man down, you have to take out the legs. And we saw a lot of just aggressiveness. And again, these are two faces. Might I add this? These are two guys that are face, but Kid Wolf was the aggressor. He's the one that really led the match. And as funny as it sounds, the Kid Wolf works like a veteran, and that's a roughly take he's working like a veteran, and I like that. And obviously because he's learned from his father, and that it's a big thing. When you work like a veteran and you start taking control, we definitely know that things are going to come out differently. So I give that match a 3.5 out of 5. It's definitely a really good match. The upset win, that was another thing that I liked, was just the fact that Matt Foster had to be quick on his feet and think, okay, how am I going to win this match? And when they were in the roll up, boom, you just rolled back up and got the win. That's really good. Second match of the night, Alex Taylor versus Arashi Ray. Another match that started off hot and it kept on going. It stayed hot, and that is something that I like to see. If you're gonna go for a fast-paced start, might as well keep it going. And they didn't start slowing down towards the end, and like it's crazy how the conditioning and the stamina that these guys had, because I've heard from a few guys that if Arashi had them wrestling around in circles and going that fast, they'd probably be throwing up. And it's crazy, and to the point where it was so fast, it was so good to the point that I couldn't write down anything. It was hard to write down spots as I'm watching this because I was so invested, I was so in tune to it. One spot that I definitely was able to have to quickly write down was the frog splash to the back. Um, Alex Taylor being just this kid who just doesn't let up. He was going in, and that really just showed that Alex Taylor is a kid to not take lightly. The frog splash to the back was definitely one of my favorite spots, and then the ref bump. I'm a big fan of ref spots. Get the refs involved. The ref involvement is a big thing in matches, and sometimes the storytelling has to be done through the ref. And I like how the ref take the bump, and Arashi did what he had to do to get the win, and I like that. That's definitely something that I want to see more from matches. I want to see more refs taking bumps and playing a part of the story instead of just going straight into, a clean finish. That wasn't a clean finish. That definitely was exactly what needed to be done. I don't know if I've seen Arashi's heel work. If this is the first time that I've ever seen it, or it's the first time everyone's seen, I really hope I see more of it because I want that. I want a heel that will go to all the lengths of the earth to get the win, to get the W, and that was definitely something that we got here. Um, Again, Alex Taylor very quick on his feet, and he knows how to outsmart his opponents and really work. He makes you work, and I fucking love that. These are both guys that know how to work, and I can't wait to see more from both in the future. Third match in the main event. Before I go into that, 4.5 out of 5 for Alex Taylor versus Arashi. Definitely a great match. So good job, guys. Main event, Keo versus Kid Fish, and I want to tell you it's really good seeing Keo back in the ring, man. I don't know if he's had a match recently that I possibly skipped and missed over, so I do apologize if that's the case. But it's really good seeing Keo back in the ring doing what I definitely like seeing from him, and it's also good seeing Kid Fish just finally spread his wings. Ironically, it's you never hear of a fish flying. You hear about fly fishing, but you never hear about a fish flying. So it's cool seeing how far he's gotten ever since emerging in the scene. Not saying that I'm going to take credit for my involvement in his career, but I definitely opened a door for him and gave him opportunity over in Triumph. And he, again, dude, he's worked his ass off, so he definitely deserves a caliber of this and a main event match. And that's a big thing, dude. It's a big thing. In the beginning of the match, it was a little corny to my liking, but it played the role. It played the role right that needed to be played, and the crowd really got invested, and I love that. And so I have no complaints there. I do like that Fish started taking control, and that, again, like I mentioned with Kid Wolf and Foster, is that someone needs to take control of the match. Someone needs to lead the tango, and Fish definitely led the tango and just really got through the whole entire match. And again, like, dude, it's hard to call a match. When you're really working with someone, and sometimes when you're at a level like Kid Fish is, where you're still trying to emerge, there is this. There's just something about calling a match where people kind of get scared, but Fish definitely didn't show any fear, and that's really good. Before I kind of it really go into more detail, I want to point out that people and commentators need to stop mentioning that Kyo is a champion for another promotion. And I think it just needs to stop for other promotions. When you have guys on, your roster that are a part of other shows, commentary needs to fray away from talking about those companies. This is a competition. This is a business. I'm not going to advertise other business. The fans will definitely be able to look up the stuff on their own. You don't need to remind people that Kyo is a world champion at Freedom Pro. I don't. That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant because he is in Resurgance. He's at this show. He's at that show. Those are what matter. Don't worry about what else is happening on the outside. Um, so again, going back, Fish taking the lead is very, very good, very key, and the match was very nicely paced. I definitely liked the pace of the match, and I liked how it slowed down. And again, like when your first two matches have a very fast pace, you definitely need to slow it down, and especially for a main event. You don't want the main event to go on too short, but you also don't want it to go on too long. This match was very paced well. It went on for a good amount of time, and I liked how, again, Fish took the lead, and then Kyo was able to reverse it and be like, okay, I'll take the lead from here too. Really great stuff. The Sasuke special from Kyo, I loved it. It was graceful. I loved it. Really great spot. I just liked how, and then also Fish doing the sunset flip code red, catching code red, whatever you want to call it. It definitely caught my eye. I've seen it one other time in one of his matches, or it could have been another match, who knows? But it was really great seeing that. Um, the reversal from the fish out of water to the lariat, that was another great spot. I definitely liked seeing that, and it was an aggressive, hard hitting lariat. And there's nothing wrong with a good lariat. You know what I mean? So that was definitely, just some good stuff right there. And another good spot was the handspring to Inseguri from Kyo. Very different, very diverse for Kyo's moveset. Very amazing. And it was good to see Kyo getting the W, man. I know it's, for a lot of people, it's crazy hearing the word win and Kyo together, but with all due respect, Kyo is, he's a class A guy, class A player, and he knows how to work, and there's nothing wrong with it. Him losing, it shouldn't really hinder him, but at the same time, people are going about him being a champion and losing outside of the promotion as a big thing. I try not to think of it that way. It doesn't matter, just because he's a champion in one place doesn't matter, in another company, things like that. So that match is getting a 3 out of 5. There could have been some stuff that I would have improved on, a little bit more seriousness, if that makes sense. But again, the beginning sequence, it being corny to my liking, but it still had everybody else engaged, and that's what I like to see. So again, overall, I hope Resurgence kind of works on fixing the minor hiccups that they have, and I hope to see more from them. And yeah,